I'm not really having fun, I'm working. I get paid. At the end of the day, I'm sorry.
As a late addition to the cast, the original character was a character named Ingram. And when I was hired just to do a freelance script, I remember Peter DeLuise taking me aside at one point and saying, listen, before you write this script, I think you should watch a couple of these SG-1s. It's got this character named McKay. We all think he's great, and we haven't really found anyone for Ingram yet. So we're thinking of making this McKay character take the Ingram scientist place. And then found out kind of the day before I handed in the script that he had been cast, and was like, phew, and just did a name change from Ingram to McKay, but I had already written all the dialogue McKay styles.
Literally with the span of about 4 days this happened for me. I'd heard rumors that they liked the idea of me being in the show, and then I got this call saying, come and audition for this role, which was actually, the character's name was Ingram, and he was an African-American astrophysicist. I think they changed the way they wanted to go with it. The casting agent was great. Said, okay, look, we want McKay, but we don't want McKay. So this is a different character, do your McKay, these little McKay bits, but don't go too far with McKay. And then got the role as Ingram. And then just before I flew out, they said, oh, by the way, you're gonna be doing McKay. You're gonna be playing the McKay character. SG-1 was a guest role. So when you come in with a guest role, you're sort of thrown into this situation where everyone knows everyone already, and you're a stranger, and it's always very peculiar. As a guest star on a show, you have your job. Your job is to make the rest of the crew look right, smart, all that kind of stuff. You come in to make the mistakes, they're there to fix them.
God, you're a jerk. I wish I didn't find you so attractive.
They want you to come back as McKay, as this horrible character that nobody actually liked, and I would get death threats over it. So it's kind of interesting to come in to Stargate Atlantis, where I get to both make the mistakes and fix them.
Yes, the power of positive thinking. Very good. While you do that, I will rely on my experience and expertise.
You said you'd never done this before.
General expertise. Will you be quiet while I do this?
Having a character like McKay and a guy to play him like David allows you to always have the pessimist voice, the we should be looking after ourselves voice, the why didn't anyone listen to me, I told you so voice.
So what are we looking for?
Well, according to the ancient database, probably a cave. Cool, damp, and dark, which I translate scary, awful, bad.
The McKay character is the type of character you can drop into a scene and it will make all of the other characters warmer.
He's the guy at the front of the classroom who's always got his hand up. He's the guy who you hated in high school, who finishes people's sentences even though they're not saying what he thinks they were saying.
If we just simply remove one of the cloak generators from the puddle jumper.
I wouldn't say simply, but yes, by interfacing a jumper's stealth mode generator with the city shield, we should be able to render the city invisible.
That's all well and good, but I think if the city were to suddenly disappear, they might be able to put one and one together.
Which is why we fake a self-destruct.
He's the smart aleck. He's the guy who you hate because he is in fact always right.
He thinks he's smarter than Zelenka. He thinks he's smarter than Beckett. He thinks he's smarter than Weir.
Congratulations, you've solved the mystery of how the ancients screwed up 10,000 years ago. Doesn't mean that I will do the same. Look, I don't know how else to say this, but none of you are capable of understanding this on the same level that I do. And in Zelenka, that includes you.
I mean, McKay is a genius, absolutely, but he's also a bit socially dysfunctional. He doesn't know how to deal with people, I think, on a certain level that is past kind of a scientific team member-y interaction. These are things that we can identify with as writers.
I mean, he has no respect for anybody or anybody else's intelligence. There's an incredible sense of freedom to being able to walk into a scene and go, wrong, wrong, wrong. This is how it is.
So part of his body is experiencing time at a different pace than the other. Who knows what that could do to him?
I have no idea, but I suspect you could use a doctor.
I don't have to hide my disdain for anybody in character, or out of character for that matter.
A lot of people are like, oh, David's so much like his character. He is very much like his character. There's a very thin line of distinction between those two. David is a sourpuss. David does not like to be around a lot of people. David gets grumpy when he doesn't get his breakfast. There'll be times that we're hanging out and I'll be in the middle of writing a script and whatever he's saying, I'll just put into the episode because I'll just record his actual conversations with him about airline food or not liking sports.
Why are my legs burning?
I took us for a run before we went to bed.
Why in the world would you do that?
Because it helps me unwind.
Okay, this is very important. Did you ingest any citrus? I'm deathly allergic to citrus. Uh-oh.
He's shockingly close to his character, but a lot nicer.
I get 15 minutes when I get home to turn him off. My girlfriend gave me 15 minutes because she got sick of this kind of stuff. After that, Hewlett just screwed up, not McKay. But for 15 minutes, I get away with murder.
Have you tried turning it on?
That's what we're working on. The problem is that there's no direct link between it and the main power control systems, which, among other things, has led it to theorize that it's an ancillary power supply for the weapons systems.
Cool.
McKay is both at once a lot of fun to write for and is also one of the hardest characters to write for because McKay has so much exposition to do in those episodes. He is an exposition crutch for us. And so, yes, you absolutely get to write that really fun, arrogant, hilarious, sarcastic guy.
You know, this does require a certain amount of concentration.
What? Am I bothering you?
But you also have to meter that with his technical role on the show.
I love the technobabble. Like, that's how I got into this. I mean, I am Geek Boy. I will spend my time looking at this stuff in my free time. So I enjoy, the technobabble is actually stuff that I enjoy because I like going, okay, how do you break this down in a way that the idiots that I have to work with will understand what I'm saying?
Just, back out if you encounter anything problematic.
Problematic.
Yeah, like poisonous atmosphere, acid atmosphere, no atmosphere. Hey, it's mouth on a stick. Only shows you so much.
You know, a show like Stargate, you have a lot of exposition. You have a lot of explaining of science, explaining of concept, explaining of stuff that happened in previous episodes that needs to get done within the body of a show, usually early on. And if you can't find a way to make that entertaining, then you're going to lose them right before you get to the really exciting parts.
Why? I don't have time to explain temporal compression theory to you when every moment we stand here debating this, literally hours could be going by for Colonel Shepard relative to us. Look, hours equate to days, and days for us could mean years for him. Do you get it now?
You get a lot of stuff you have to say, and it's very important that that information is conveyed to the people who want the science fiction part of the show.
A lot of people think that, you know, for a guy like David who talks so quick and who is able to plow through 8 or 9 pages of dialogue a day, that the memorization aspect must come really easily to him, where it's very hard for him to memorize lines. And I think it's that spending those couple hours a night just going over those lines again and again and again and again, that he really is able to be like, well, I can try it this way, I can try it that way, and he always brings a fresh perspective to it that you didn't even know was there. He makes me look good.
But when it comes to lines, it's just hammering it out over and over and over again. So I literally spend all of my free time learning lines. It really does, in fact, make me the dullest man alive.
It seems that the ancients were experimenting with high-energy physics on a level that we've never seen before.
Wow.
Yes, wow. I want to be sure. So.
It's so hot.
Oh, come on. Step it up, okay, would you?
I am moving as fast as I can. I'm very hot. Aren't you hot?
Actually, I'm quite comfortable. But I'm not wearing a 50-pound rubber suit, am I?
I can't breathe. I gotta stop.
Sweet relief.
All right, this is the episode now. What happens to McKay? Which can have nothing to do whatsoever with what's going on in the episode. It's just unpleasantness for me. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens over the years, what they come up with.
You know, last year we put David in the pouring rain for 2 days, freezing cold. We hung him by a wire in a space suit when he had a flu. We dropped him 40 feet free fall from the top of the set onto a mat.
I think the writers just tend to like to take it out on McKay. Is generally the way it goes. If there's any unpleasantness to be had, it's generally happening to McKay.
Yeah, it's a healthy competition between the writers as to who can maybe fatally wound David first. And then Rob was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hang him upside down the whole night of shooting in Runner.
And Runner was incredibly unpleasant. I would say probably one of the more unpleasant ones, and I have to thank the Coop for that, Robert Cooper.
We got me in a radiation suit, which breathes beautifully, I might add, not to mention chick magnet, and now being strung up upside down. I'm gonna call Coop every 15 minutes, I think, after midnight, just to remind him, let him know how things are going. In fact, I might send him my underwear from tonight. I'll sign them and just mail them off to his office.
David, I guess, didn't realize that it was going to be a strain on his body, and so was walking the set, and Martin Wood, came across him as he was about to get his ankles shackled so that he could be hoisted up and hung upside down for the next 6 hours, and he was eating a plate of fish sticks.
To be fair, the fish and chips, I was advised not to do that. The problem was we were about to do it, and then we didn't do it. So I wandered off like a true actor. I smell food.
It started really late, and then I came and I ate a lot from this truck over there. I'm hoping that will help me with the scene that we're about to do here, where after running screaming through the woods shooting my gun like a hero, I am strung up like a chicken.
And then they're like, "Oh, good, you're ready to go." I'm like, "Just a second." And then I'm up in a tree hung upside down going, "Don't spin me again."
They had to put him down a couple of times so he could vomit the fish sticks away from his body.
Whatever the problems are, I mean, the water, with Grace Under Pressure and stuff like that, the more unpleasant it is to shoot, the more that comes through on the show.
We hadn't done an underwater episode yet, and so I was bugging Brad always about like, let's do a puddle jumper underwater episode. Let's do a puddle jumper underwater episode. And she said absolutely. She really loves David. She loves working with David.
The episode calls for the two of us to be trapped in a submerging puddle jumper. Amanda's been doing this for 9 years. I can't believe how fresh she is, especially with me, and how well she knows this stuff. There are guest stars who come in who are less prepared than she is, and she's been doing this for going on 10 years. I swear to God, she's the polar opposite of me in that she gets younger every year as I get older every 15 or 20 minutes.
They felt like I felt in the writing. It's like once Carter gets in there, it's like, this is so much easier and so much fun.
We were in for trouble when in large letters on the call sheet, "I know it sounds silly, but please don't pee in the pool." When you have to tell people that becomes very uncomfortable in the water for long periods of time. Because you start looking around, like, wondering if they've got the purple stuff in the water,
Wait.
Just in case this doesn't work.
Oh. Okay, you know what? Paul, I said don't bring up Paul. What is? Paul, No, I'm fine. I'll talk. I just, I'm sorry. So we should go to the next. You'll just. Thank you for holding the cards and the candy and stuff, but I've told him I can't. I've spoken to Paul about this, and I can't talk about Paul until the lawyer has had his say. So. And now, again, this you have to be very specific here. First man-on-man kiss, if in fact Paul is a man.
Hey there, we're on the set of Duet right now where we're filming a kiss between Paul McGillion and David Hewlett. It was a late addition into the first draft of the script, and when I wrote it, I called Paul and I said, Paul, are you going to be okay with kissing David? And he was like, hell yeah, that's great. And then I called David to make sure it was okay with him, and he said, I'll do it, but only if Paul wasn't excited when you told him. I lied, but they're having a lot of fun down there.
It was hot. It was hot. There was a bit of tongue. They'll deny it, but I saw it, and I was right there. But don't tell anybody.
It was difficult, very difficult. And the taste is still the smell. You wake up screaming, really. I should get some water, I think, probably. McKay there's always something going on for McKay that I enjoy. Comedy-wise, obviously Duet. That was a big episode for McKay, so I really enjoyed that one. And like that date scene to me it stands out as one of my favorite scenes ever to shoot, where you get to play two characters and with Paul, and I think it's a fun episode.
I am very, very interested. See you soon.
It's true. There are definitely little moments in all episodes where I'll be like watching a show and I'll go, oh, yeah, I remember that. That was like a fun little thing.
Get a hold of yourself, man.
It's like all little moments. Like there's a moment in Siege Part 3 where he's saying, the hive ships, you know, if my calculations are right, should be here. And he just gives a little laugh at the end of, if my calculations are right, like, how could they not be?
So, if my calculations are correct, they'll make one last stop here.
That's the type of stuff that Hewlett really brings to the role. McKay kicking ass in the hive is maybe one of the funniest fun scenes that we, you know, because it's so McKay, he's so McKay in it, and yet, you know, he's really taking these two giant guys out. That was a lot of fun for all of us to watch.
And that's what happens when you back a brilliant scientist into a corner! Oh, focus.
Where would the show be without David Hewlett? I think people would enjoy their jobs a lot more. I'll tell you that for one. He is difficult. He is a difficult performer.
Whatever. Next. Talk to me, my child. Am I supposed to look in the lens when I say that? Yeah. Oh, it's a spelling bee now, is it? The gate? Is this on? I have it absolutely none. I do exactly what I'm told when I'm told. The men upstairs, I'm afraid, are responsible for McKay. I every so often ask if I can stand a little bit further to the left or right, depending on the shot. I would have to say, if I was going to steal something, I would steal the gate, for sure. Purely for monetary purposes. Yeah, that's it. No, because it really works. I'm glad I gave these a lot of thought. I actually read them over and thought about them, and then now all I've done is stolen the gate. Thanks for writing in, though. Please continue. No, I've been training for years. The more I feel I'm going to screw up my line, the faster I'll start talking. If I talk fast enough, I'm hoping people won't notice that I'm actually missing every third or fourth word. So yes, I do talk this fast. No one has ever understood a word I said. High school was hell. We have exactly the same body, the same voice, and I think it pretty well ends there. Body and voice, unfortunately. I got his two best traits. No, not a chance in hell. I'm having too much fun doing the show, so I got the show to do. If I were to leave, then why would I? What a stupid question.
Let's say you didn't have a television show.
What? Sorry, just a second. So you got nothing, really. Nothing at all. Yeah, I'd go. Good question. I happen to have a lemon here, so we are going to conduct the first McKay citrus test. I'm going to just cut into this here. I'm getting a small amount of, like a numbness. What we should do is we should check back in with me in 12 hours, and I can tell you how it's progressed through my system. No, you see the... No, I'm definitely getting a tingly sensation up here. Do you have the EpiPen, anybody?
You know, David is able to... allows for us, again, to really... Having somebody like David on the show, I don't know, I think David brings... no, I know, that's what I'm going for. He is an essential piece. David is... I can't imagine doing the show without David Hewlett and the McKay character.